What's happening, everyone? Welcome back to the shed. My name is John McGrath and this is part 18 of this custom guitar build. In the last episode we took care of our oil finish, so we have a nice satin sheen on this guitar now. It's all good and dry and ready to go. It's looking pretty good, I think. So it's hardware installed now. We have all the parts are here. So without further ado, let me get you in for a closer look. Let's start installing the hardware, and it's almost time to play this guitar. Let's do it. Right guys, hardware install. One of my favourite parts about building guitars. I like this end of things. Just bolting stuff onto the guitar is good fun. You can really see it start to come together. Now, in a previous episode, I've been through all the hardware and I've told you where I've got it, but I will put all the links in the description below for everything I've used on this guitar build. So if you're looking for anything, just check the descriptions. Everything will be there. Like I say, I ran through all the hardware before. The only thing I haven't showed you was the pickups I'm going to use. I was debating what to go with, but I had an Iron Gear Dirty Torque pickup lying around spare, so I decided, you know what, I'm going to use Iron Gear pickups for this guitar again. I got them from Graphtec in the UK, which is where I bought all the hardware as well. I've used these before. They're a relatively inexpensive pickup, but they sound fantastic. Their best selling combination is the Dirty Torque for the bridge. So let's just get a focus on that there. Here you go, that's the Iron Gear Dirty Torque. That's the bridge pickup we're going to use. It's a medium to high output pickup. For hard rock and that kind of thing, and they recommend you combine it with their blues engine, which is their PAF modeled pickup. So yeah, there's all the specs on that there if you want to pause the video and check it out. So again, links in the description below for these. So that's going to be our neck pickup. So it's going to be a blues engine in the neck and a Dirty Torque in the bridge. After that, then everything is already pre-drilled and pre-installed. Go back a couple of videos if you haven't seen that process. So there's one change of plan. I have to go with 2 volumes and 1 master tone rather than 2 tones and 1 master volume. And the reason for that is I'm going to coil tap or coil split these pickups. So I need to use my volume pots as my push pots in order to do that. Again, all the wiring diagrams for all this stuff is also available on the Graphtec website. So you can just get them and you can print them out, so everything is there. Again, links in the description below for all this stuff. I've used their stuff before and it's fantastic. So, like I say, everything is pre-drilled, so it's just going to be a case of me to bolt everything onto this guitar. The only hole I have to drill is 1 hole into my control cavity from under my bridge for grounding my bridge. So that's the only thing I need to do. So that's the first job. We'll do that now. There we go, nice and simple. That's just to take our ground there through. So that's the last thing we need to drill. Like I say, everything else is pre-drilled, so I'm just going to crack on now and bolt everything onto this guitar. Right, let's begin. So the first thing I'm going to do is I have all my holes pre-drilled, so I'm just going to give them a quick once over with this thing just to make sure they're not full of oil or anything like that. And that's hardened just to make it easier for the screws to go in. The screws that you get with bridges and pickup mounts and stuff like that tend to be soft enough so you can destroy the head on the screw if you don't have these things pre-drilled properly. So just make sure you have a nice pilot hole drilled and the screw is not too hard to turn in. So very simple. I'm just going to run through all these. They're already pre-drilled, but right, the first piece of hardware to go into this guitar is going to be our neck pickup. I already have the pickups mounted to the pickup rings. Very simple. Just a screw through the pickup ring into the pickup, and you have a spring in between just so you can height adjust your pickup. So the wires for the neck pickup just pass through the bridge pickup cavity and into our control cavity, and then it's just 4 screws to mount it down. So that's next. I've just taped up the end of the 4 wires just to make it easier to pass through all the holes. So let's do that. Right guys, our pickups are in, so next thing we're going to do is our bridge. Now we need to ground our bridge. So what I'm going to do is I'm using just a bit of ground wire here. It's a bit of copper flexible ground wire. So I'm just going to put that into the bridge or into our control cavity. I'm not going to solder it onto the bridge. I'm just going to let it sit here. I'm going to fan it out and just clamp it under my bridge. Alright, so that's just going to sit there like that. I'm just going to use the bridge then to clamp onto this fanned out copper. And that'll give me a ground onto the bridge. That's all I need. Okay, our bridge is on, our saddles are back in. Now we can flip this guitar over and we can look at the control cavity. Right guys, before we install anything into our control cavity, I'm going to copper shield it. Now I have some copper shielding tape here, and we also have a copper control cavity cover. That'll just create a Faraday cage which helps stop interference getting into the signal chain. Now it's not 100% necessary. Some people say it is, some people say it isn't. It's more necessary, I think, with single coils. They can pick up interference more. You get more of a hum, so this can help. But yeah, I have it, so I'm going to do it. Nice and simple. It's just tape it on, spread it around, job done. Right guys, that's our copper shielding done. Nice and simple. It's very forgiving stuff. You can just tear it off, stick it in. As long as everything is overlapping and touching, all your copper is touching, you're good to go. It will also help ground all our components. I will be grounding them with a wire anyway, but extra grounding always helps. So yeah, so next thing I'm going to do now is the input jack and the jack plate. I'm going to have to start soldering now. So that's the diagram I'm working to. You can see it there. Again, this is available on Graphtec's website for iron gear pickups. I'll put the links in the description below. I won't go into detail now about soldering all of this. That's a whole other video series on its own. I'm just going to install our two push pots as our volumes. We'll have one tone and we have a three-way switch. And that's the diagram for doing this, okay? So again, links in the description below for this. I'm going to crack on now and start soldering all this stuff in and putting it in. So let's get on it. Okay guys, that's our wiring done. I'm not going to go into it too in depth. The wiring diagrams are available online. This is a whole other series of videos on its own, but just to give you a couple of quick tips. I've left the length on the cable here in case I want to use this pickup on another guitar. It's a longer route on a Les Paul back to its control cavity from its neck pickup than from this guitar, so if I ever wanted to use that pickup in something like a Les Paul, I'd need the extra length on the cable. So I've just left it in there, coiled it up neatly. Another thing just to be aware of, that every single one of your components must be grounded. So from the input jack to the volume pots to the tone pots to your switch to your bridge, connect every one of these external metal parts together. Ground all your components. That's very important, alright? These are just push pots. All they are really is a volume pot with an extra set of contacts on it. So when I push and make these, they'll split the coils for me. So what it does is it grounds out one side of the coil. So again, I can go into all this in a whole other series of videos. Just a couple of quick tips for you now. Yeah, that's all really I suppose I can tell you about this. Wiring diagram is online. Links will be in the description below. This is ready to go now, so I can test this now. I'll actually plug it in and see if I have continuity from everything that I need continuity for, and see if we're getting some sound. That's the next thing. Right guys, the next thing I need to do now is install the nut in this guitar. I have a Graphtec Tusk nut. It's pre-radiused, pre-notched. It comes with this protruding part in the bottom. I think that's for fitting into vintage guitars. But I have to file this off now, and I also have to match it to the radius of my neck. Now, my neck is a 9.5 inch radius. This nut is a 9.5 inch radius. My nut slot, I have to try and ensure that I keep the same radius in it. Not so easy to do. I'm just going to use a chisel just to remove the material, and then I'm going to file it out. I'm going to sit my nut in and just keep checking as I go. Now I can match this radius to my neck radius to ensure that they're 100% the same. You just take a bit of sandpaper, hold it tight over your neck, and you can move your nut back and forward, and that will radius the bottom of your nut the same as your fretboard. So that's a little tip for you. So now I'm going to crack on and just remove this material in here, trying to keep the same curve as my neck. It's not going to be too difficult, hopefully, famous last words. So in order to get a foil small enough, I'm just going to use the foil on my Leatherman just to foil out that last little bit and try and put a radius in it. But most of the material is going to be removed with this chisel. So I'm going to crack on with that now. Okay, it's a good tight fit anyway, so that's perfect. It's a perfect fit. So now I just got to get my curve and my depth right. So what I'm going to do now is just going to take the knob off the end of this thing, or the notch off the end of this thing, and yeah, try and file this with the same curve as my neck. Okay, there you go. Nice and simple. This stuff is really good to work with. It's actually a synthetic ivory is what it's supposed to be. So it's a man-made replacement for ivory, and it's really easy to work with and really easy to file. It's actually like bone. So yeah, crack on and see if we can get this thing to fit properly. What I'll do is I'll set it in. I'm going to string up the guitar, and I can always lower the nut if I want to. So what I'll do is I'll string up the guitar, check that everything is playing right. If I'm good, I'm good. If it needs to be lowered, I can lower it. I don't want to go too deep because you have to put a shim in then to raise it back up again. So rather have it too high than too low. Right guys, our nut is in place. I'm not going to glue it for now. I'm going to get the strings on this guitar. I'm going to check the action, and I'm going to do a full setup. We might be a little high on the nut end, I'm not sure yet, but it's easy to take it down if we are. But for now, yeah, all our hardware is in. We have our push pots, we have our tone pot, we have our 3-way switch. Oh, quick question for you guys. What do you think? Black switch tip or cream switch tip? Let me know in the comments below. Right, for now, I'm going to string this thing up with a set of 11s. I like 11s on a Les Paul. This is kind of a double humbucker. That type of guitar, although it's a double cut. But I like 10s on my Strats, so I'm going to run with 11s on this guy. Set of Ernie Ball Slinkies, so that's what's going on this guitar now. So yeah, let's string it up, and then it's full setup, and it's time to play it. Right guys, there we go. The hardware is installed, the strings are on, the brains are in, everything is ready to go. This guitar just needs to be fully set up now, fully tuned, and all the electronics tested to make sure everything is working, and then we're going to play this thing. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram. If you want to hear what this thing sounds like first, you can check it out over there with my other guitar videos. You can hear what my other guitars sound like over there too, and you get the quickest updates, I suppose, on all the build projects. So links in the description to my Instagram is, well, links will be in the description to my Instagram account. So don't forget to join me there too. Hit like and subscribe. Any comments, leave them below for me. Cream switch tip? I think so. Or black switch tip? What do you guys think? Yeah, that's it for now. I'm going to get out of this shed and go have some dinner. And we're going to set up this guitar and we're going to play it. Take it easy guys. We'll see you in the next one.